Friday, the 5th of January 2018. In an ideal world, musicians could play for anyone that wanted them, but to even cross the border into certain countries can look like a political act, which means a lot of soul-searching and deliberation at the planning stage. It's a matter of weighing up the benefits of meeting a whole new community of fans against the flack that can come when entertainment meets international politics. Against a backdrop of ongoing debate over whether musicians should play in Israel, Radiohead chose to in July 2017, while Lorde has recently declined. Here are a few concerts that caused controversy before anyone could play a note. Listen. James Dean Bradfield campaigns to save his local library. Cuba for me is the last great symbol that really fights against the Americanization of the world, stated Nicky Wire in 2000, as the principal reason why Manic Street Preachers, with the help of Neath MP Peter Hain, agreed to defy a long-standing U.S. cultural and economic embargo and play the first major rock concert in Havana for more than 20 years. The performance took place in front of an audience of 5,000. Tickets were the equivalent of 17p each, including Fidel Castro, who rose and gave a standing ovation to the song Baby Elian, a tribute to Elian Gonzalez, the 6-year-old boy at the center of an international custody battle in 2000. Officially, the Castro regime had been against rock and pop music, calling the music decadent indulgences. But when he met with the band shortly before showtime, he dismissed the warning that the volume might be hard to take, saying, "Will it be as loud as war?" Listen. Dolly Parton phones Steve Wright from Nashville. The United Nations cultural boycott on South Africa's apartheid regime was broken spectacularly and often. Paul Simon may be the performer who has received the greatest amount of flack when researching and recording his Graceland album with local musicians, but the list of performers who came to the ritzy Sun City Resort, modeled closely on Las Vegas, is long and star-spangled. Everyone from Frank Sinatra to Dolly Parton came, having been reassured that, because Sun City was in the government-created and yet also somehow independent homeland of Botswana, and the audiences were allowed to be integrated, it didn't count. Outraged by what he saw as the coercion, Stephen Van Zandt of Bruce Springsteen's E Street band formed Artists United Against Apartheid to shame them into pulling out of future gigs. They released the 1985 single Sun City, which featured contributions from a similarly starry list of performers, including Bob Dylan, Ringo Starr and Peter Gabriel. Listen. Simon Napier Bell on Wham! In China. While the most high-profile examples come from those countries whose regimes have created international outcry, most cultural boycotts come from within, seeking to keep insurrectionary outside influences away from impressionable audiences. That's certainly one of the key reasons Chinese authorities had kept the explosion of Western rock, soul and pop at arm's length after China's 1966 Cultural Revolution. Sensing a loosening of attitudes in 1985, Wham! Manager Simon Napier Bell proposed a tour by his high-profile, unthreatening pop band. 2 concerts were agreed, one in Beijing and another in Guangzhou. TV presenter Can Lijan introduced the band, and later described their impact. For BBC News, "No one had ever seen anything like that before. Back then, if we wanted to listen to pop music with lyrics like that, we had to do that in secret. If you were caught, you would be taken to the police station and they would keep you there all night. It was a time of many taboos. One of the ways Wham! Songs were made acceptable was by changing the lyrics